Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. In today's video, I'll be using Spellbinders Windows with a View collection. In addition to the new Windows with a View collection, I also wanted to show Spellbinders' brand new craft stacks. They have two different sizes. There's the medium and also the large. When you purchase the large, it comes in a 2-pack, and the medium, there are 4. I'll go ahead and open up both of the packages so you can see what's included. The medium tray set includes 4 medium standard trays and also 4 medium slim trays. And you can use the slim trays as covers for the standard tray. In the large tray set, there are 2 large trays and 2 large slim trays, which again you can use as a cover. And the medium trays will stack on top of the large tray. The trays are perfect for organizing all your different pieces for your cards or projects. You can put your small die cut pieces in there. That way you won't lose them. And you can stack several trays together so you have everything ready to go when assembling your project. And it's nice having the slim tray to use as a lid. Helps keep everything even more secure. I placed an A2 size card base inside the medium tray so you can see it easily fits inside. And here's a look at the large trays. Again, it has that slim tray you can use as a lid, or you can just use as a separate tray. You can put 2 of the medium trays right on top. Spellbinders also has a craft stack combo tray set available. It includes 2 medium standard trays, 2 medium slim trays, 1 large standard tray, and 1 large slim tray. If you aren't sure what size you want, you could always try the combo tray set first. If you are interested in any of the products I use in this video, I do have links in the description box below. Now here's a look at the Windows with a View collection. There are lots of fun die sets, there's a sentiment stamp set, and also a background stencil set. You could use pieces from all of the die sets individually, but 3 of the die sets are designed to work with the Vista View window die set. And that is the set that includes the window and the window box. And this is a fairly large window, but it does work nicely on an A2 size card. I'll pull out the large window and place it on an A2 card base so you can see the size. And the window die has this beautiful etched detail all along the outside frame. And here's one of the window boxes you can place at the bottom of the window. All of the add-on sets are really fun, but I decided just to play with one of them. I have Up in the Air View. It has clouds, umbrella, rain, sun, a moon, there's grass, a heart balloon, and a kite. There's a little butterfly and some flowers. The other 2 add-on sets are called Backyard Haven View and the Botanical Solarium. The other die set I received is called Coastal Escape View. This is my favorite set. It has a porthole window, and I'll lay that on an A2 size card base so you can get an idea of the size. This set also includes a little wave design. There are palm trees, a shell, a couple of fish, coral, other plants, and also an anchor. The collection also includes a stamp set called Sending Sunshine Sentiments. Lots of great sentiments that work perfectly with the 2 window styles. There are also a few small images, a ladybug, a bee, a flower, and a dragonfly. So let's go ahead and get started with card number 1. I have all of the pieces for my card organized in a few of the craft stacks. I'm using the medium-sized tray along with the slim tray as a top. I've already gone ahead and cut out the window using some white cardstock, and I will be popping it up with some foam. I'm using 1/8 foam strips from scrapbook.com. This is their 2mm thickness foam. I'll make sure to get good coverage around the outside of the window frame. I'll set that aside for now. For the background of my card, I have some dark blue cardstock. I'll put adhesive on the back and add it on a card base. And a little bit of the white card base showing at the bottom, so I went ahead and trimmed that off. I'm adding a piece of pattern paper behind the window. This is from Paper Rose's Watercolor Neutrals collection. I thought it looked perfect for a stormy sky. Now it's time to create the scene through the window. I'll first glue down all the die cut pieces for the scene before adding the window frame. I cut out 3 of the clouds using some light gray cardstock. Before adhering them down, I will place the window die cut on top. That way I can get the placement correct. For some of the pieces, I do have them going off the edge of that background piece. I'll simply use my scissors to trim off the extra since I don't want them peeking through the window frame. I'm adding 1 large cloud in the upper left-hand corner, 2 on the right side. I also cut out 2 of the lightning bolts. Use some yellow mirror cardstock from my stash. I'll adhere both of those down underneath the clouds. Now I'll remove the release paper behind the window, and I decided to cut some tiny little pieces to put at the cross section of the frame on the window. Since the rest of the window frame is popped up with foam, by adding those small pieces just in the cross section of the window frame, it adds some more stability. Now I'll adhere the white window on top of the background scene. And I almost forgot to add the grass. Luckily, I was still able to peel up the bottom portion of the window. I'll put glue on the back and sneak those 2 grass pieces underneath. I was going to add 3 of the grass pieces, but decided to go with just 2 of them. I didn't want to cover up the lightning bolt at the bottom. Now I'll glue down all of the raindrops, and I cut these out from some blue cardstock. Other than the lightning bolts, this is a very typical scene where I live in Western Washington. We have a lot of rainy or even just overcast days. We don't get a lot of lightning storms though. I'm using a pair of reverse tweezers to pick up the small raindrops, adding a small drop of Barely Art glue on the back and adhering all of the raindrops down through the window. And 1 final raindrop, and I'll add that in the bottom middle window opening. I'll also be adding a pink umbrella. I use pattern paper from Doodlebug Design. This is one of their petite prints. For the handle of the umbrella, I'm using some silver pearlescent cardstock from my stash. I'll adhere the 2 pieces together, and I'll be adding the umbrella in the lower right-hand corner of the window. But first, I'll adhere the sentiment, and I've already stamped and cut this out. Cheer up, bad weather always looks worse through a window. After adhering this sentiment, I'll add the umbrella on the right side. So there is my finished card, and this is card number 1. For card number 2, the pattern paper is from Lawn Fawn's Watercolor Wishes Rainbow Petite Paper Pack. For the background of my card, I'm using the pattern paper with lots of orange, yellow, and red polka dots. I'll put ATG tape on the back and add it on a card base. The pattern paper I'm using that you'll see through the window has this lovely ombre design. I think it looks like a sunrise. Different shades of orange with a little bit of red all the way at the top. I'll adhere that piece down using some glue. I've already gone ahead and cut out the window, used some craft cardstock, and I have foam dimension on the back. I'll be adding 3 light orange clouds in the sky. A couple of them will go off the edge of that background piece, so I'll use my scissors to trim off the overhang. I'm also adding a sun at the very bottom, and I did cut off the bottom portion of the sun since you'll only see a little bit while the sun is rising. I'll add the largest cloud on the right side toward the top, and the 2 smaller, one will go on the left and the other will go on the right side. Now I'll remove the foam on the back of the window and adhere my window right on top. I love the look of this sunrise scene. You could do ink blending to create your scene through the window, but if I have pattern paper that works, that's generally the first thing I'll turn to. In front of the window, I'm adding a window box. I'll put some double-sided adhesive tape on the back side, then start filling up my window box with plants. The dies I use for the greenery pieces, I believe are supposed to be flowers from the Up in the Air View die set, but I thought they also worked as the greenery for the plants. I'll adhere those down, and I also cut out 5 reddish-orange flowers. Some of the flowers I'll have tucked behind the window box and others will sit in front. I'm trying to fill the box with lots of plants. In some areas I will need to add a little bit of glue since these greenery pieces are fairly short. I'll put another piece of double-sided adhesive tape on the back side, also some glue, adhere the window box in front of the window. Then I'll add the final 3 flowers sitting in front. Technically, this would be a window box inside your house since you're looking out the window at the sunrise, but you could still have flowers in a window box inside. Instead of a window box, this could also be a windowsill, and you could add potted plants. The Botanical Solarium die set does have a pot with a fun variety of different plants and flowers. I've already gone ahead and stamped and cut out the sentiment, "You're in my thoughts." I'll adhere it in the upper left-hand corner of the window. To keep the sentiment at the same level as the window, I will add some foam dimension pieces behind it. Then I'll put glue on the back and adhere the sentiment in place. I thought it would be fun to add a little bit of sparkle to the sun. I'm using an orange glitter brush from scrapbook.com. And I'll very carefully brush it on the sun die cut. Since the glitter marker does have orange color, I'm trying not to get it on the pattern paper in the background. Then for a final finishing touch, I'll add some gem stickers in the center of the 5 flowers. I'm using Spellbinders Gold Mix Gem Stickers. The gem stickers do have adhesive on the back, but I'm adding a small drop of glue just to make sure they stay in place. It's never fun to pull out a card and find out your gem stickers have fallen off. There are 2 different gold shade colors on this set. I'm using the lighter gold and also the smallest size gem. So there is my finished card, and this is card number 2. I love how this turned out. I think the sunrise scene is beautiful. Now moving on to card number 3. I have one more card featuring the Vista View window die set. For pattern paper, I'm using the same Lawn Fawn collection, and for the window, I use Honeybee Stamps Grain and Grunge collection. It includes lots of great wood grain designs. The pattern paper for the background is white with green and blue polka dots, and I use the blue ombre pattern for outside the window. I already have foam dimension on the back of the window. I'll be adding one of the window boxes. For the background piece, I use the same wood grain pattern paper, and for the decorative piece on top, I cut this out from the same Grain and Grunge pattern paper, but it looks mostly like brown cardstock. Before adhering it down, I'll first create my window scene. I'm adding 3 patches of grass at the bottom. Put one on the right, one on the left, and one in the center, so you have grass overlapping. I did need to trim off a little bit of the grass patch on the right side. Now I'll add a sun in the upper right-hand corner of the window, and I cut this out from light yellow cardstock. I'll use my scissors to trim off some of the sun rays that are peeking outside the window frame. For the center of the sun, I use a slightly darker yellow cardstock. Just glue those 2 pieces together. I'll also add some puffy clouds. There are 2 different sizes on the die set. I'll put 2 in the upper left-hand corner and 1 on the right side underneath the sun. Now remove the foam behind the window and adhere it in place. Once the window is adhered down, I'll add the window box in front. Put glue on the back and adhere it in place. I've already gone ahead and stamped and cut out the sentiment, sending sunshine and smiles. This is my favorite sentiment on the whole set. I'll put glue on the back and adhere the sentiment on the window box. I also cut out 2 of the butterflies from some dark teal cardstock. I'll put one on the left side and one in the lower right-hand corner, right above the grass. For a final finishing touch, I'll add a little bit of sparkle on the sun using a clear glitter brush from scrapbook.com. So there is my finished card, and this is card number 3. Now moving on to card number 4. The last 2 cards I'll be using the Coastal Escape View die set. The pattern paper is from Honeybee Stamp's Vitamin C collection and also their Grain and Grunge collection. I'll be using some of the wood grain designs for the porthole window. I selected 2 pattern papers for the background, a teal tone-on-tone stripe paper for the bottom portion of the card, and this fun seashell design for the top. Adding both of them on some dark teal cardstock, and this is just cardstock from my stash. I'll put ATG tape on the back, add my card front onto a card base. For separation between the 2 pieces, I cut a narrow strip of the same dark teal cardstock, and I'll adhere that down. Now I'll start working on the porthole window. I use the same wood grain pattern paper for the back circle piece and also that little circle frame. Inside the window, I'm using another pattern paper from the Vitamin C collection. You can see some of the pattern paper through the holes on the window, but I will be covering those up. When adhering the frame onto the background piece, I'm trying to line them up together so the wood grain panels all go the same direction. Now I'll put glue on the back and adhere the window on the left side of the card. Now I'll fill in all those small circles around the window using Spellbinders Silver Mix Gem Stickers. I'll add the smallest size. As I mentioned earlier, they do have adhesive on the back, but I'll add a small drop of glue down first to make sure they stay in place. Then one at a time, I'll fill in all those little holes. And I am using my tweezers to help pick up the tiny gem stickers. Instead of gem stickers, you could also add small circle die cuts, or you could do a silver frame and adhere it behind that front frame of the porthole window. Through the window, I'm adding an island with 2 palm trees. I use some pattern paper from the Vitamin C collection for the sandy island, dark brown cardstock for the tree trunks, and dark green cardstock for the palm leaves. I've already gone ahead and stamped out the sentiment, relax and enjoy the view. I'll cut the right side at a slight angle. Before adhering it down, I am adding a scrap cardstock piece on the left side of the sentiment, then I'll adhere it underneath the palm trees on the right side of the porthole window. And this will help the sentiment stay at the same level. For a final finishing touch, I'll add more of the silver gem stickers. Put 3 in the upper right hand corner and 2 in the lower left hand corner. I will add a small drop of Barely Art glue down first, then attach the gem stickers. I like how Spellbinders gem mixes include 4 different sizes. And I'm using all 4 sizes on this card. I have one final gem sticker to adhere. So there is my finished card. I love how this one turned out. I'm a big fan of ocean themes. Now moving on to card number 5. This is my final card design. This card also features pattern paper from Honeybee Stamp's Vitamin C and Grain and Grunge collections. I selected 2 pattern papers for the background. I have a light tan tone-on-tone shell pattern for the top and a white wood grain pattern for the bottom. I'll adhere both of those on some dark brown cardstock. For separation between the 2 patterns, I'm adding a strip of dark green cardstock. Although it's actually the back side of pattern paper, I found it in my cardstock drawer, and I thought the color worked perfectly with the other pattern papers. On this card, I'll be creating an underwater scene through the porthole window. I cut out one of the fish, used the front and back side of a tan colored cardstock, For the eye of the fish, I'm gluing a scrap piece of black cardstock on the back side. For the anchor, I have two different shades of gray pearlescent cardstock. Just adhere those two pieces together. The water and sand pattern paper are both from the Vitamin C collection. I used the wavy border to create the little sandy hill. I'll glue that piece on the water background. And I don't have them lined up perfectly, but that's okay. You won't see that outside edge once I put the window on top. I used a dark brown wood grain pattern paper for the porthole window. I'll adhere that window frame down first. Now I'll start creating my underwater scene. I cut out two plant pieces from light green cardstock. I'll tuck one of the plants behind the sandy hill on the right side. I'll add the fish on the left side. I cut out a coral piece from some light orange cardstock and I'll tuck it behind the sand on the left side. And I decided to have the fish swimming through the coral. So I did pull up the fish. Unfortunately, I ripped some of the paper and the black cardstock for the eye ripped apart, but I was able to reattach a piece and I'm covering up that torn area with the fish so no one will see that. Now I'll glue down the final plant piece on the left side. Then I'll attach the anchor on the right side. And I will have part of the plant going in front of the anchor. Now I'll adhere the window on the background wood grain piece. I'm trying to line them up so that wood grain pattern all goes horizontally together. I'll put glue on the back and adhere my window on the front of the card. I've already gone ahead and stamped and cut out the sentiment, wishing you a world of views and dreams. I'll put glue on the back and adhere it underneath the window. For a final finishing touch, I have a scrap piece of brown cardstock. I'll cut a fishtail on the bottom, then cut the right side in slightly at an angle, flip it over, do the same thing on the other side, then I'll put glue on the back and adhere it in the upper left-hand corner. I almost forgot to fill in all those little holes. This time I'm using Spellbinders Gold Mix Gem Stickers, the darker gold color, and this is the smallest size. I'll add a small drop of glue inside all of those holes, then adhere the gem stickers in place. I think the gem stickers inside the small holes really adds a fun finishing touch to the card, and also lots of sparkle. I have just one more gem sticker to adhere. So there is my finished card, and this is card number 5. I love how this card turned out. I think this is my favorite from the whole set. Now here's another look at the 5 cards I made using Spellbinders' brand new Windows with a View collection. This is a really fun collection. I enjoyed making all of the cards. And there are a couple other add-on sets you can purchase that I didn't use. If you are interested in any of the products I used in this video, I do have links in the description box below. And I'll also add a link for Spellbinders' February releases. There are lots of other collections available. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.